Bart Scott earlier this morning on Get Up said it best. There's no quarterback who's done less with more than Baker Mayfield. This guy's only completing 61% of his passes. He's only thrown for 2,100 yards over the first 10 or 11 games or so. Do I believe in Baker? No. Do I believe in the Browns? Yeah. That's where I'm at with it right now.
Okay, so Baker's wife, Emily Mayfield, retweeting that video from First Take Friday with the caption, "This aged well," after the Browns improved to 9-3 with a win over Tennessee. On that note, we bring in our quarterback, Dan Orlovsky. Dan, hope you had a nice weekend. Top of the morning to you, but you know who I am starting with right now. That would be the one and only Stephen A. Smith, and your facial expressions are priceless, Stephen A. Tell me this, do you feel like you owe Baker an apology, maybe his wife too?
The answer would be hell no. Let me start by saying this. Baker Mayfield, really, the wife, really? That's where we're going? As a man that was raised by 5 women, I know better, and plus I'm incredibly respectful. So I would like to say that when it comes to Miss Emily Mayfield, I would love to say that I loved her tweet because I love to see a woman who loves her man so dearly she wants to stand by him and support him, and major props to her. Not that she needs any props from me, but you know what? That's why she's Mrs. Mayfield, because she's something special to stand by her man like that. Congratulations, and congratulations to him for having a wonderful woman like her. Having said all of that, I will say this: far be it for me to take the position that I took. This is a person that did not have an impressive record against winning teams with winning records, if you recall, Mrs. Mayfield. So I would say that as number one. Number two, over the previous 4 weeks, he was completing 57% of his passes. I think it was like 2 touchdowns and, 1 or 2 turnovers. He was relatively pedestrian. When you look at the multitude of weapons that he has available to him, a stout running game in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, Jarvis Landry and those boys can ball, and obviously they look a little bit better without Odell Beckham Jr. because he doesn't get to focus on them. The defense, they really get after the quarterback, courtesy of Myles Garrett. Their secondary isn't too shabby. And Kevin Stefanski is pretty much known for operating around Baker Mayfield and basically saying, to use Baker Mayfield's words, don't do anything stupid. Don't give the game away. Don't blow it up. If that's your definition of success, I can live with that. What I'm saying is what Bart Scott said. Considering the bevy of weapons that Baker Mayfield has available to him, if this dude is that dude, and he plays the way that he played yesterday, because he was sensational yesterday. He really was. It was very impressive. He plays that way. I agree with Rex Ryan. Cleveland Browns got a shot to win it all if Baker Mayfield looks that way. But none of us expect him to. None of us expect a repeat performance. None of us expect him to throw 4 touchdowns in the first half, being the first quarterback for the Browns since Otto Graham in 1951 to do so. Nobody's expecting that from Baker Mayfield. Nobody's expecting Baker Mayfield to throw for 330-plus yards and complete about 90% of his passes. Nobody's expecting that from Baker Mayfield. We see that. Then the Cleveland Browns are a different franchise. They're different anyway right now, because bottom line is they're about to get to the playoffs, and major props to them and Coach Stefanski for that. You've seen the upgrade. There's a difference. There's levels to this between him and Freddie Kitchens, and we understand that. But if you want to sit out there and say one game basically eradicates any argument that has been made against Baker Mayfield, you go right ahead. I'm not rooting against the brother. I wish him luck. I love his personality, those sound bites, the things that he has to say. If he backs it up with his performance on the field of play, Baker Mayfield is a headline grabber, because we know that brother can really talk and he can really sing. We get all of that. Plus, the brother can dance too. Let's give him credit for that. But the point is, we don't really expect that from him, which is why I said what I said. I stand by it. And if he continues to do that, then I will commit my mea culpa. But 1 week doesn't get that done. My apologies.
Stephen A. Smith is no stranger to the influence the media can have on the sports world. Dan Orlovsky is finding that out too, because when Dan took the L on
Max, wrong segment.
Carson Wentz last week.
No, we're talking about the Browns. We're talking about the Browns, Max. We're talking about the Browns.
Carson, you know what? Coach benched Wentz. He thought, if Orlovsky says that about Wentz, maybe I can bench him. The point is this, Stephen A. Baker is showing me a lot. You know, and it's not like we're sitting here, any of us, making stuff up about guys. I was a big supporter of Baker's for a while, and I tried to stay with it, and I pointed out 4 head coaches in basically 2 seasons. Who could succeed under that situation? And most guys are coaching dependent. Like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson. There's some guys who go, that guy's going to be great. I don't care where he is. Now, Belichick turns Brady from great into the GOAT, right? Andy Reid turns Mahomes from great into the Super Bowl champ, MVP, all that stuff. But most guys actually need coaching to go from bad to, you know, like we saw it with Nick Foles, right? We saw it with Tannehill, and Baker fits into that category. Give him the right coaching and the right team around him, and he'll look good. We saw it at Oklahoma. He's throwing to wide open receivers. He looked great. But because of that, he looked more accurate than he really is, faster in college than he was in the pros, obviously, against slower defenses, right? He was cocky. And you want a quarterback who has some cockiness in him, but it was too cocky. And what the NFL has taught Baker, and give him credit for learning the lesson, not being so hard-headed that he didn't make adjustments, emotional, mental adjustments, right? He wasn't going to accept a loser's fate so far, right? Let's see what happens. But give him credit for learning that humility. Stephen A., remember when he responded to you earlier in the season, and he was like, that's those guys' jobs? They like that. I'm not worried about that. I thought to myself, that's a good answer. That answer shows maturity. And what did he say? What was it, yesterday, right? He talked about, I ask myself before I do something, would an idiot do that? And if the answer is yes, then I don't do it. Baker Mayfield is showing growth as a quarterback because he's showing, he's taking the humility that the NFL has taught him, and he's using it to his advantage. I'm impressed by what I see. Obviously, Stephen A., you don't owe him an apology.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.